Welcome everyone, this is Honest Restart, and this time we're talking about Pokemon Scarlet and Violet and how there seem to be themes of the past and the present, and we're going to be kind of diving into some speculation here as to what this may mean for the gameplay. Could there be some sort of interesting time mechanics at play here? Well, that's what we're focusing on today. Now, before we jump into things, let me first very quickly talk about my social media. You may see a few different things here on screen, you can check that all out. It is linked in the description below, and of course, if you like what you're seeing here, you can subscribe or perhaps consider joining as a member. To get things started, let's first talk about how there's clearly a theme of past and future in these games. And I'm not going to be getting into rumors or things of that nature, but purely what we're seeing from the game so far. So when we take a look at the game, there is clearly an inspiration from Spain. There is clearly Spanish influence. Look at the architecture of the buildings, look at the tropical nature of the environment. Take a look at the names for some of the Pokemon. Sprigatito, that is literally cat in Spanish, and then Fuecoco, fire crocodile in Spanish. Yeah, it's pretty clear. But then let's take a look at our new professors, Professor Sada and Professor Turo. So what's interesting about this is that yes, those names do sound kind of Spanish, but what's more interesting is that pasada means past and futuro means future. So their names are literally parts of past and present in Spanish. And if you take a look at Sada, the one for the past, she has this very barbaric, archaic kind of look. She even has fangs. Clearly she's themed off of the past. And then we take a look at Turo. He has a more sharp, modern look. He's wearing futuristic looking clothing. Clearly he's following the theme of the future. But this goes beyond just our professors, but the legends as well. Koredan looks similar to Sada, very archaic, barbaric, very ancient and amazing, but that kind of style. And then with Miraidon, it has lightning and space and turbojets, and it's metallic with pixely eyes. Clearly it's based off a more of a future theming here. So it seems pretty blatant and obvious that there is a theme of past and future in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. So with that established, what does that mean for the rest of the game? Is it just going to tie into the story, or does it go beyond that? There's been some speculation as to what sort of core new mechanic will be a part of this game. For the last few generations, we've been seeing some sort of interesting mechanic involved with the actual combat. For example, in Pokemon X and Y, it was Mega Evolutions. In Pokemon Sun and Moon, it was Z moves. In Pokemon Sword and Shield, it was Dynamax. So this time around, what's it gonna be? Will it be tied to some sort of time mechanic? I'm not sure. I'm actually sort of the frame of mind that that may not even be necessary. How many times are you gonna come up with some sort of weird gimmick with combat? They may be able to come up with things, sure, but after a certain point, if it's just being different for the sake of being different, is it even really worth it? I kind of feel like right now the focus is more on the world and the exploration of the game, and still be tying into the combat with this style of world in a nice, neat kind of way, having a proper marriage of open world gameplay with the traditional style of Pokemon gameplay. Can it be done? I think it can be, but because they may be focusing on that, they may not be trying to create some sort of weird gimmick to mix things up even more so. So I'm not sure I'm going to be predicting that there'll be some sort of crazy time mechanic involved with the combat where you can go back in time or forwards in time during actual combat. That seems a little strange to me. However, when we take a look at the very last few moments of the second trailer for Scarlet and Violet, there is this Pokeball flying through this weird space area where there's like shattered glass or diamonds, something like that, and the Pokeball is flying through. What is that alluding to? I think they are teasing something because Pokemon Company and Game Freak have been known to tease things a lot of the time. So they probably are teasing something here. It's probably not just there just to take up a few more seconds of our time. It's probably a tease to something. But the question is what? I think there's a decent chance they could be related to the themes of the games. So does this mean I'm wrong and there is some sort of time mechanic involved with the combat? Maybe there is, but it could also be something entirely different. Something I've considered is that we just got Pokemon Legends Arceus. It's come out this year, and there's a number of new forms and Pokemon in there that aren't actually available to be played and used in the main games. Excluding Arceus, of course, but in terms of having them usable with the core primary combat system of the Pokemon series, how can it be done? Well, the most logical way probably would be to simply add them to the next new game, which would be Scarlet and Violet. But it might not make that much sense to just shove in Pokemon from many years ago that wouldn't actually be alive in this current era, unless there is some form of time travel. Given that there's a theme of the past and we're seeing a Pokemon that's representing the past in Koraidon, that seems fairly feasible, not to mention when we go back to Generation 2, when you wanted to bring a Pokemon from Generation 1, there was a time travel mechanic to bring them in. So this is something that's actually been done before. So that could be a way we could see like the Hisuian Pokemon in Scarlet and Violet. But what about the future? They should be doing something for that as well, right? Well, then maybe we see, for example, Ultra Beasts, and perhaps they are from, quote-unquote, the future because they're from a different space-time, a different parallel world. That's another possibility too, and that could be what this Pokeball is alluding to, getting Pokemon from different times and worlds. That would make sense, and it wouldn't be that much of a stretch because it's been done before. But it's also not something entirely new either. So maybe there's something a little bit more to it than that. So here's an idea. What if there are Pokemon that have varying forms? There are Pokemon that have past forms, and there are Pokemon that have future forms. What if even your own starter Pokemon can have divergent evolutions? Say the mid stage is the same, but that final form, that final stage, if you play Scarlet, well, it'll be a past form. If you play Violet, it will be a future form, or perhaps there will be another way to decide that, and you could choose either form in your respective game. That's another possibility there. But before we close things out, let's go back to the idea of them having some sort of gimmick for the combat that could be related to this time or past or present theming. What could be done that would make sense and wouldn't really be something that would ruin the system? Well, here's an idea. What if you had an option to do something that would benefit you in battle, but you had to make a choice? Something similar to a Z move, or when you do a Dynamax, you have to make a choice, and the timing of that choice and how you use that choice can make a tremendous impact on the flow of battle. So what if this time around, you have the option to either do a past related mechanic or a future related mechanic? Maybe that past related mechanic could be something as simple as reviving a fainted Pokemon. That would be your big awesome move, bringing back something else from the past that already fainted. And maybe a future related move could be sort of stocking up on status boost for a particular Pokemon that could be coming out later. And you make that choice, and that's the mechanic, and that could greatly impact the flow of battle. I kind of like this idea because it's something that would fit the theming of past and present, but it also is different from Z moves, it's different from Dynamax, it's different from Mega Evolution, and it's not just a rehash of an idea we've already seen before, and it actually could be a fresh take on the combat of these modern Pokemon games, without fundamentally changing what the combat actually is. But these are just some ideas I have for what they could do with this past and future theming of Scarlet and Violet. What do you guys think they could be doing with this theming? Do we even agree that there is a past and future theming, even though I would argue it's pretty obvious at this point? Let me know in the comments below. Anyways everyone, this is On Just Restart. Thank you so much for listening and watching, and I'll see you all really soon. Take care. Bye.